at the last stanza, strofe 5, it says here, die teruggewoord nou voltooi klimaaks in die strofe, is daar 'n wending of verandering. Okay, so now the plot is completed. Now here we by the climax. There's like a plot twist over here. It says here, toe het 'n brief gekom eendag and then a letter came one day. Okay, so the word toe over here, then, dui daarop dat tyd verloop. Okay, indicates that time has passed and now there's a turning point in the poem. Okay, so a letter came to him. And in this part, we see inversie, okay, inversion, okay, we all know what it is. So they started with two, okay. Why do they do that? It says here, is ter wille van die rhyme, okay. It's there for the sake of rhyme, okay. Cool. And also dit beklemtoon dat daar eendag net skielik 'n brief gekom het wat anders die vorige briewe was. Okay, so it also emphasized that one day all of a sudden a letter arrived, and it was different, okay. Wat anders, okay, was different from other letters, okay. So the ellipsis over here, okay, the ellipsis over here. Aan die einde van die versdeel dui aan dat daar iets belangrik is in hierdie brief staan as die ander wat hy maandeliks by die deure se hoeke gelees het. So here the ellipsis is telling us that there is something more important in this letter because it's different than other letters he would receive monthly and read in the animal cage, okay? So he responded to this letter immediately, okay? Hy het dadeliks op hierdie brief gereageer. Okay, hy het dadeliks na haar toe gegaan, okay? So he immediately went to her and that ellipsis over here allows us to wonder like, oh, what happened? What was in the letter? Okay, it says here, hy het oor die bed gebak verblind, okay? So he bent over the bed blinded, okay? So now the scene shifts from the second sense to a room. Looks like a hospital room where he's bending over, okay? 'n kamer waar hy ook 'n bed bak, he's bending over, okay? Hy is verblind, okay? He's like blinded deur sy trane. Why is he blinded? It is because of his tears, okay? Hy huil, okay? He's crying, okay? So this shows emotions, wys emosies, okay? Hy voel deernis of liefde vir sy ma. So that was actually his mom, okay? He feels compassion and love for his mother. He's like, no, what's happening? Okay. And his mom was the only person who truly loved him because notice how letters were always going the letters were always going to the clown, you know, he was always receiving letters, okay? Verblind, okay? It is in between commas to emphasize, okay? It says that terwyl 'n boggelvroukie saag, okay? With a hunchback woman and softly. Okay, so looks like the mom also has a deformity, okay? Boggelvroukie, hunchback woman. She also has a deformity, okay? So that's where he probably got his disability from because his mother was also physically deformed like him, okay? Maybe it could be due to old age, or weens ouderdom wees, okay? So it's by old, maybe she's really, really old, okay? And the diminutive over here, key, okay? It is to emphasize that this lady is small, okay? She's physically small, okay? And also the verkleining skep 'n atmosfeer van simpatie, okay? It also creates an atmosphere of sympathy, okay? Saag, okay? Softly, okay? Sy praat nie hard nie, okay? She's not talking hard, she's talking softly or she's whispering, okay? They both have the same meaning, okay? It's synonymous, okay? It says here, sterven fluister, dankie my kind. Okay? This is so sad. So the letter he received was probably, I'm just going to wrap this up quickly. I'm not going to really read everything, but this is what the note says, that the letter that he received, okay, that last letter was probably saying that his mom was dying, okay? Sy moeder op sterwelei, okay? His mom was dying and that he had to come immediately, okay? So as she dies, she thanks him, you know, she thanks her child for everything that she's done for over the years, okay? The fact that she says my child, or the fact that she has a hunchback also indicates that that mother that's dying is his mother, okay? The same is cool. And it says here the ellipsis at the end of the sentence over here, it's actually her final words, okay? The ellipsis at the end of the line is her final words, okay? She thanks him for what he's done to her, you know. He was sending money to the mother all the time. That is why his clothes looked done. They looked worn out, okay, monthly. And in the last stanza, we get so many answers to the rhetorical question. You know, we now know why he neglected himself, okay, and all that. It is because he needed to support his mother. Guys, hospital bills are expensive. The mother needs to eat. The mother needs to be cared for, okay? And we also learned that the clown is a gentle person who took care of his mother. And his colleagues didn't see that. They don't see beyond his disability or deformity, okay? So this is the last stanza. He cared so much for others, but nobody loved him. He didn't receive the same love. Instead, in return, he received mockeries. He received mockery and all that, okay? It makes us sympathize with him, you know. We're sympathizing with him because it's not nice, guys. It's not nice to treat people different just because of their disabilities, okay? That is it for today's poem, guys. I'll see you next time.